Man United players expect Erik Ten Hag sack after training decision raised eyebrows. It's not looking good for Erik Ten Hag as Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS weigh up his Man United future. Several Manchester United players reportedly believe Erik Ten Hag will be sacked this summer as the club's disastrous season stumbles to an underwhelming conclusion. Just one win in 7 Premier League games has obliterated morale and left Ten Hag's minimum requirement of Champions League qualification almost out of reach. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's purchase of a 28% stake in February increased scrutiny on the Dutchman's position amid a below-par second campaign. INEOS have overseen sweeping changes in the United hierarchy since inheriting total control of football operations from the Glazer family. Omar Barada will replace Richard Arnold as chief executive this summer, and Jason Wilcox is set to join him as technical director in the coming weeks. Both have contributed to Manchester City's current successful structure. Dan Ashworth will also arrive as the club's new sporting director once he serves his Newcastle United gardening leave, with further appointments expected. United's lack of progress on the pitch this term has left Ten Hag's future in serious doubt, and sections of his dressing room reportedly believe he is already resigned to his fate. According to the Manchester Evening News, numerous United players are convinced the club will have a new head coach next season. Much of the current senior squad isn't guaranteed to remain at Old Trafford beyond the summer as Ratcliffe looks to get ruthless in driving change on and off the pitch. However, some players are said to be delaying decisions on their futures, and it remains to be seen who will be in charge of the 2024-25 campaign. Raphael Varane, Anthony Martial, Johnny Evans, and Tom Heaton are all out of contract in July. Sofyan Amrabat's loan won't become permanent. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Scott McTominay, Christian Eriksen, and Amad Diallo are all entering the final 12 months of their current deals. Man United boss Erik Ten Hag takes action after Alejandro Garnacho's social media swipe. Erik Ten Hag has dealt with Alejandro Garnacho after the Man United winger liked social media posts criticizing him. Erik Ten Hag has reportedly privately handled Alejandro Garnacho's recent social media activity after the Manchester United wingers liked posts on X, formerly Twitter, criticizing his manager. Garnacho had seemingly taken issue with Ten Hag's treatment of him in Sunday's 2-2 draw against AFC Bournemouth. The 19-year-old has flourished into a crucial player for United, and he was named in the starting lineup for the 30th consecutive game at the Vitality Stadium. However, he was among the players who struggled to make an impact as United failed to win in the Premier League for the 6th time in 7 matches. Ten Hag acted by dragging Garnacho off at half-time and replacing him with FA Cup quarter-final hero Amad Diallo. After full-time, he suggested that the Argentina international wasn't doing his job on the right wing. YouTuber Mark Goldbridge took issue with the Dutchman's decision during the game before slating his post-match comments. Garnacho has been one of our best players this season, Goldbridge wrote in one post. Poor first half, but taking him off at halftime and holding him up as the problem is a joke. Many have done much worse week in week out and are still out there. A second post read, Ten Hag subtly blaming Garnacho in the post-match press conference. Not a good look throwing a 19-year-old under the bus who has actually delivered for you this season. But then again he's clearly scared of upsetting the bigger earners. Later in the evening, Garnacho's X account showed that he had undermined Ten Hag by liking both posts, suggesting he agreed with the criticism. According to the Manchester Evening News, Ten Hag has since privately dealt with the Red Devils number 17. United have highlighted that Garnacho had quickly unliked the posts. Don't see it, Jamie Carragher hands Man United major warning on potential Casemiro replacement. Manchester United are tipped to recruit in midfield during the summer transfer window with Casemiro earmarked for the exit door at Old Trafford. Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher has warned Manchester United and other interested clubs to avoid signing Everton midfielder Amadou Onana in the summer transfer window. United were first linked with a move for Onana at the beginning of the campaign as they looked to add options to their midfield. The Manchester Evening News understands United are continuing to monitor Onana, along with Everton teammate Gerard Brandtwaite. Erik Ten Hag could be heading back into the race to sign a defensive midfielder this coming summer after Casemiro's form dipped dramatically this season. Beyond Casemiro, the Reds have been light in the defensive midfield area of the pitch this season and could reinforce their midfield options when the summer transfer window opens, with the Brazilian having been tentatively linked with a potential move to Saudi Arabia. In January, as Everton's financial fair play, FFP, woes deepened, Arsenal and Newcastle United were heavily linked with Onana's signature, but again the move did not come through. Still, the Belgian did little to impress at Stamford Bridge on Monday night as he was hauled off at half-time during Everton's 6-0 defeat to Chelsea. Reflecting after the final whistle on his performance, Carragher slammed the midfielder. He told Sky Sports, Sean Dyche, picked out a couple of players he brought off at half-time. He mentioned the central midfield players. I actually think James Garner has done a good job for Sean Dyche since he's been there. But I must say this, Onana is a player who Everton may have to sell with the situation that they find themselves in financially. He came in with a huge reputation. Frank Lampard brought him in, he looks the part, did really well I think for Belgium at Wembley, and there was talk of him going to other big clubs. I don't see it. I haven't since he's been there. I don't know what he is. Is he a holding midfield player? Does he get forward? Does he get involved? The only thing I have seen him do is try to lift the crowd, that is all I ever see him do when he plays for Everton. Man United are getting what they expected from Rasmus Højlund, but that makes next transfer decision impossible. Rasmus Højlund had found his feet at Manchester United, but he has struggled again since returning from injury and has been a peripheral figure in recent games. When Rasmus Højlund scored both of Manchester United's goals in the 2-1 win at Luton Town in February, his stock had never been higher. After a tough start to life at Old Trafford, breaking his Premier League duck had opened the floodgates, and a double against the Hatters made it 8 goals in as many games. But then came an injury and a month of inaction, and as quickly as he went from cold to hot over Christmas, his temperature plummeted once more. It is now 405 minutes without a goal since his return, and more concerningly, there have been just 3 shots in that time. In his spell of looking like an unstoppable Premier League striker, between Boxing Day and February 18th, Højlund had 16 shots in 8 games, but his barely influenced recent fixtures and United's results have turned in accordance with their £72 million striker starting to look goal-shy once again. Højlund played the full game in those successive draws against Liverpool and Bournemouth, but didn't have a single shot and managed 60 touches across 180 minutes. Bruno Fernandes is picking up the goal-scoring slack for now, but United need Højlund to catch fire once more. Not only is it essential that the club's leading striker scores goals, but with Anthony Martial leaving Old Trafford this summer, a new striker is towards the top of the shopping list in the first window under the influence of INEOS. If Højlund remains in a funk and continues to look like a striker capable of going through streaky spells of good and bad, then the dilemma of the profile of forward to sign becomes more of an issue. During that midwinter spell, Højlund had started to look like the right deal. He began to lead the line with the quality as well as the confidence of a United number 9, but it has to be a concern that he is struggling to maintain that kind of form. With potentially 8 games of this season to go, United will want to see a return to that level. Goals from Højlund will help in a battle with Newcastle, and potentially Chelsea, for 6th place, and they could be vital if a spot in the FA Cup final is secured. But they would also allay any fears of needing another elite striker to help score the weight of goals expected next season. In a summer when United are set to miss out on Champions League football and continue to balance FFP issues, they could do without the requirement of buying a proven goalscorer. In spending £72 million